Well, greetings Sigma race fans. This is our second Crown Jewel event in the Sigma Cup schedule, and it's a big one. 600 miles around Charlotte for the Coke 600, done by Sigma. And we had the Mini Coke 100 lap event last night to help set the rest of the field. Campbell Marsh on the front row alongside Al Bunch, so that's a good starting position for the ARCA driver already. And then we've got Rich Roy and Ewan Whatarmy in the next row back. Brian DeBlank and Taden Berggren. David Bird, who made it through the Sprint Qualifier alongside Chris Harvey. Braden Varga, multi-winner on the season. A rookie campaign looking strong for that number 9 team. Then we've got the 34 of Maggie Reams, 87 of Kellen Relic, and the 54 of Alex Sanvital. Cooper Dwight and Jacob Shangle. Bradley Reim and Willow Blake. Chaz Chadwick and Nate Newman. Tom Cording and Ralph Oberstadt. Billy Lovejoy and Andre Stefan. Liz Shangle and Bella Fawn. Eli the Wolf and Tyler Shangle. Tristan Reams and Tyler Landa. Lynn Farrell and Guido Piano, Lucas Holmes and James Gunner, Matthew Fastnot alongside Trevor Walker, John Hagan and Kara Shangle, Louis Trost and James Fireball Robert, Tyler Aspinall and Monty Shangle, Jack Ross and Tasha Wright rounds out the field here tonight. This is a marathon. It ain't going to be won on the first lap. It can definitely be lost on the first lap, though. Notorious for some big wrecks over the years, Charlotte has claimed a lot in the early running of the races. So hopefully we can get through the first segment of the night without too much carnage for these drivers. But you never know. It could get wild, it could get crazy around Charlotte. 600 miles, grand total of 400 laps here today. Pace cars off, and we're getting rolling for the main event of the evening. Al Bunch with the 89 there of Campbell Marsh. Jaguar dominance at the front of the field on full display here. Taking the top 2 spots from qualifying. Al Bunch is going to get the lead lap on lap 1 here. Ooh, and Jacob Shangle clips the wall back there deep in the field. The Doritos Cool Ranch number 64 got a touch of the wall, and we're wrecking already on lap 2 or 3. Oh boy, it is not pretty, folks. Oh boy. Well, that's the one you didn't want to see. And that is the one we're seeing here right out of the gate. There's going to be some championship implications on that sucker. That is the wildest wreck I think I've ever seen. We might only have 2 cars starting this race. Wow. Well, it happened from the lead. So some might argue that having ARCA drivers, truck drivers in a cup race like this is, you know, the experience levels vary right now, and that's what happened here. Yeah, I just don't want to call anyone out for a rookie mistake, but a rookie mistake that piled up 90% of the field. I am still trying to process exactly what happened here. The biggest wreck in Sigma history happened here tonight, folks. The biggest wreck in Sigma history. And this really is going to turn this 600-mile race into a very, very long ordeal here tonight. So as we see, David Bird makes a bad move there on the 85 of Brian DeBlanc. The track, narrow already as it is, narrows up even narrower here as they just come dogpiling in. You see cars flipping over the top of each other. You see debris flying through the air. Lucas Holmes taking a tumble. All we can hope for is that we've at least got some cars clean and capable of fighting for a win here tonight. Those that made it through, it looks like Kellen Relic makes it through. Braden Varga. Wow. We only have 21 cars left, and most of them are not in a good position to finish this race. I am going to save this replay early so that I've got a backup in case. We've got the big wreck, and it happened here tonight. Holy cow, folks. Not even 5 laps in to this endurance length race here tonight, and the field has shrunk significantly. Left running now, you've got Rich Roy, who has never won in Sigma competition, leading over last year's champion Al Bunch. Monty Shangle, Taden Berggren, Braden Varga, Kellen Relic, Nate Newman, Billy Lovejoy. They had to take the hood off that car, but he's going to keep rolling here tonight. Guaranteed a top 21 finish with the amount of retirements in the race. Campbell Marsh, Cooper Dwight, Louis Trost, Tyler Shangle, Alex Sanvital, Kerry Shangle, Bradley Reim, Chaz Chadwick, Tom Cording, Bella Fawn, Willow Blake, Jacob Shangle, and Lynn Farrell. And man, the one name I did not see as your runner-up in the points, Ewan Whatarmy, who had not had a DNF all year. He's gonna finally get his first DNF on the season here in the Coke 600 on lap 3 of 400 with a 27th place finish. So, we get re-rolling here on lap 7. The dog pile of a wreck that we had for lap 3 clears out half the field here tonight. And now we've got some odd happenings here with a bunch of drivers dipping down pit road. Black flag, black flag, black flag, black flag, black flag. Some of the cleanest cars are now going to get trapped a lap down here tonight, which makes for a very weird start to this Coke 600. So, Taden Berggren jumps to the lead here tonight. Braden Varga in second, Kellen Relic in third, and a whole bunch of damaged cars. We're racing with some damaged cars for the win here. So these drivers, it's going to be It's going to be a long night for some of them with the damage on their vehicle, but if they can hold their own, they might still be in the mix. Folks, I have no real explanation for this. All the sims I've done, I've never had a wreck that huge. It's, you know, that's the joy of the Sigma Racing Series, is you get something unexpected every turn of the corner. And that's what we have here tonight, is a wild and crazy start to this one. It is a long race, so even though those folks got black flagged, they're going to have a lot of racing to get those laps back here tonight. 21 cars left running, 21 cars sent to the garage with massive damage here tonight. It's going to be a little harder for me to fill the air in the race here tonight, because you know, 42 cars makes for a lot more storylines. 21, storylines start to dry up a little bit. We had the whole script stolen from our hands before it even got started. The good part is we probably won't see very many more cautions tonight, because there just is not enough cars left running in this race that could bring out enough cautions to really slow the pace of this race down. So maybe we are in for a record-setting Coke 600 tonight in terms of length and time it is to race. I was fully anticipating about a 4-hour endeavor here tonight, but might be on the closer into 3 hours. We're not going to black flag or disqualify anyone. The leaders got to work their way around the slower traffic. It is part of this race now. And if it ends or results in a wreck, so be it. They've got to make it 600 miles here tonight. With the hurdles they got to jump over. So grand total of 21 DNFs here today. Starting in 22nd, stretching all the way down to 42nd. 21, I guess 20 cars, 21. Yeah, because zeros count as one, so that's 21. $22 actually. Here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And then there's 21 cars left running. Fastest lap in the race right now belongs to Braden Varga, who's running in second. Kellen Relic is third fastest. And even with the damaged vehicle, Willow Blake has managed to be fourth fastest here. So three-dog fight at the front of the field as more folks have fallen a lap down here. Campbell Marsh in fourth. Nate Newman in fifth, and Willow Blake running in sixth. Monty Shangle seventh. That's got to be a little bit disheartening for Monty there, that his car cleaner than the entire field, and yet he's getting outdone by cars with significant damage on them. It's actually quite wild. Willow Blake, she had a fast lap in this race, and I'm thinking it was since the damage. Luckily for her, there is not a lot of front-end damage, so majority of the damage on the back might just make that car a handful to drive tonight. Speed still in the 19 machine. Cooper Dwight running in the top 10. Lewis Trost also in the top 10. That leaves us with our 10 cars on the lead lap now. 11, I guess, with Kara. She's still right on the lead lap. Al Bunch, 15th, a lap down. He's got fresher tires. We'll see if maybe he can start cruising around the field to try and get one of those laps back. It's kind of a throwback race. You know, there's drivers that are going to need all the laps here tonight to try and get back into the mix. That was a very unexpected wrinkle thrown in by the Sigma officials for black flagging the multiple drivers at the front of the field. We don't have a direct connection with Sigma officials, so we really just kind of have to play the guessing game as to why they got black flagged. Could have been anything on a pit road penalty. It could have been a bad restart. Heck, they could have been nailing some of the folks for avoidable contact during the big pileup in turn 4, lap 3. Tayden has never won in the Sigma Cup Series, so this could be a huge opportunity for him. It sucks that it had to come down to wrecking out half the field here tonight. You know, 21 cars retired, but let's add the ones that were involved in the wreck as well. So you got 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. 33 cars in total were involved in the wreck. 33 total. That's insane. Well, our drivers are definitely going to have to get settled and sorted for some green flag pit stops here tonight. I don't think they're going to have many cautions to help them break up the monotony of these long, long runs. If you thought drivers were tired after the Coke 600 last Sunday, just you wait till the end of the race here tonight. You're going to have some drivers on the cusp of passing out. It's going to be nonstop for pretty much 590 miles tonight without much breaks. Of course, there's always the chance that we get another caution. I'm kind of erring on the side of little to no cautions here tonight after the big one. We had a Talladega wreck at Charlotte, nonetheless. Funny part is, I actually had done some adjustments to the track here to avoid getting that, wow, crazy factor wreck. And it's gotta, you gotta get the race started, you gotta get rolling and get kind of singled out. We had 30 cars race the Mini Coke last night. We did not have but maybe one single wreck. And just about everyone continued to finish that Mini Coke 100 with a kind of a small wreck towards the end. But here today, we couldn't even get to lap 5. And now we're along for the ride with this crazy cast of characters leading the way. You got Tayden Bergeron, Kellen Relic, and Braden Varga. Varga trying to become one of the top candidates for Rookie of the Year here. Ooh, I don't like the lap traffic in the mix. That could get dicey. Braden gets shuffled to third here as Kellen Relic moves up to second. Kellen Relic has been winless for quite a long time. And as it sits right now, he would be locked into the All-Star race on being the highest in points without a win. Kellen Relic's been in the series since its inception in 2010. But it's been a dry spell. He did win last year, but it was way early in the season, so it was Brands Hatch last year all the way back in March, so it's been a year. Kellen Relic's been on a year-long dry spell, and it hasn't been for a lack of trying. He's got the Jaguar power, which helps give those cars some great strength week in and week out. He's definitely had longer dry spells than this, but once your career starts stretching out as long as his has, you don't know when that dry spell will turn into the final, stretch of your career. So just looking strong here today, and with a little bit of luck has been able to avoid the big one tonight. And he's fortunate to be one of the top three at the front of the field. A little bit further back, you've got Campbell Marsh running in fourth. Fifth place belongs to Willow Blake. She's got the fastest damaged car on the track here. She's 9.6 seconds back, losing time to the leader. But this is an endurance race. As long as she can out-strategize the rest of the leaders, maybe avoid getting in some wrecks, all she's got to do is keep rolling. This might be an unscheduled pit stop of all times. Getting off strategy doesn't hurt either. A very, very unusual off-strategy call here to come down on lap 46. But as long as she's still running, she's still got a chance. We only have 9 cars that didn't sustain any damage. And of those 9, you kind of have a 3-car pack at the front leading the way. The one that might be interesting is to see how Al Bunch rebounds from the black flag at the beginning of the race. So you've got some aces hiding at the back of the field that could definitely pounce when it's time. I'm awfully confused with Rich Roy. No damage. He had the lead after that first wreck happened, but is fallen backwards to 1 lap down in 12th. Maybe he got off strategy, so we'll see. Al Bunch is stuck with some very unruly traffic here. Man, Al Bunch needs to get out of the hornet's nest. Oh, whoa, they were almost wrecking. They saved it there. I don't know how. Billy Lovejoy, Cooper Dwight. That was a tremendous save there. Just getting a little too close for comfort. As you can see, the 37 got bumped into the wall there. Cooper Dwight gets a little bit of it. Bradley Reim gets a little bit of it. But we continue on. And they could have made me look like a fool bringing out a caution. I was saying that I don't think we're going to have any cautions to help these leaders catch a break. But as long as there's cars on track, there's always a chance for a caution, I guess. Last year's winner, Tyler Shangle, still in the mix, although 2 laps down. Yep, we got a lot more takers coming down pit road for what should be scheduled pit stops here, I believe. Lap 57, we're getting close to that lap 60 mark that I would have presumed our lap pit stops would have started. Campbell Marsh and Willow Blake, two team mates. Willow Blake employs Campbell Marsh in the ARCA series. I think Campbell Marsh is going to walk away from here this week being the most impressive in the chaos and confusion that was lap 3 wreck here tonight. At least he's got a fighting chance. No! 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 Billy Lovejoy in the wrong place at the wrong time. Made it 3 wide with Willow and her fellow driver there. And they just made a sandwich into the wall. Wow. Bam. Yeah, this race is going to be a wild one here tonight. I knew exactly what we were signing up here at Charlotte. This seems to always bring in some of the most wild and crazy races of the season. It's kind of midpoint in the season, not quite midway, but a nice, neat little, stretch into the season where you get an idea of who's in the mix for the championship, who's been having a rough season. So a lot of folks roll into Charlotte either trying to get healthy or continue a trend that they've been developing for the past 15 races. Well, here tonight, it was Bradley Reim on a tear, had finally taken the points lead away from Ewan Whatarmy. Bradley Reim still in the mix tonight with the damage on his car and should be walking away with his points lead still intact. Another few folks coming down pit road for scheduled pit stops here. Leaders have not pitted yet, though, as Taden Bergeron, Kellen Relic, and Braden Varga still lead the way. See, I like the bargaining odds of just having a car still in the mix. The way things go here, usually even the leaders are not safe from bizarre and weird happenings. Last year's winner should have been Eli the Wolf, but he got taken out from the lead with lap traffic in his way. It's weird that this is almost playing out like a carbon copy of last year, where we've had so many cars get wrecked out. Well, it happened again, except it happened a lot sooner. Last year, it was kind of broke up into 4 or 5 different crashes throughout the night. It didn't even give us that opportunity here today, as it all happened on one lap, on lap 3. In one turn. Here we go. Taden Bergeron's got the long strategy here, going all the way to lap 65. So if we crunch the numbers, his next pit stop will be 130. We'll keep our eyes on him here as he makes his pit stop. Kellen Relic and Braden Varga are getting their lap back that they lost under green flag pit stops there. Taden might be so fortunate that he can come down pit road and still keep his lead over the 2 competitors he was fighting with. Wow, Campbell Marsh, I don't know if that's going to help him get caught up to the leader here, but he might be on the tail end of the lead lap in 9th. So either that, oh, Kellen Relic gets by with his pit strategy. So Taden Berggren falls to second here. Kellen Relic inherits the lead. Yep, right there. New leader, 87, Kellen Relic. Campbell Martian, 9th, is about to go a lap down. That means we've got 9 cars on the lead lap. Tyler Shangle also on the lead lap, but just barely, as she's getting passed by Kellen Relic. Taden settles into second, but he's got fresher tires than Kellen Relic and can go a little bit further. He'll be able to make to lap 130. And if this thing stays green all the way through, he could stretch it pretty much to lap 390. I don't know if the pit laps factor in too, so it'll help him a little bit, but we'll see to what degree. Willow Blake has moved up to 4th now. She's only 10.5 seconds back of the leader with the damaged car. Keep an eye on the tracker here to see if she actually gains some ground or if she's losing ground to Kellen Relic. 10.5 seconds is the deficit. Now 11.5, so she's losing about a second a lap, it looks like. But still fast, fast enough for 4th. That's impressive. Now Kellen Relic dealing with lap traffic. The 89 is a teammate car to him. The NOS Kellen Relic Racing Jaguar there. Some folks simply just trying to hang on for dear life for a full 600 miles tonight. Al Bunch trying to push it 3 wide with Willow Blake and Alex Sanvital. Sanvital's 4th position though, Al Bunch in 12th, Alex in 11th. Billy Lovejoy, that car, it is not happy. It is definitely hurting here, and the driver in the cockpit fuming that he can't get more out of it. It's been a rough night. He had a great start with the Sprint Qualifier last night to make it into the main event here tonight. But just trying to soldier it on home for the best finish he can potentially get without getting put into the wall, hopefully. Rolling roadblocks, some of these cars are. But Sigma officials are not going to DQ anyone. We need to let them all race it out. If there's going to be any more wrecks, it'll be on the drivers not holding their line. Kellen Relic took advantage of the first round of pit stops here tonight to inherit the lead. And he's got a very sizable lead, actually, over Taden Berggren and Braden Varga. Pit strategy for the win. 5-second gap he has grown on the competitors. So let's take a look at the people retired from lap 3 tonight. You had the 85 of Brian DeBlanc finishing 22nd. He's doing really good in the point standings, so that's going to be a mild hard hit for him, as it's not really going to knock him too far out, but it's definitely going to hurt. 33 of Ralph Oberstadt, and only his second career Sigma Cup start. Made it through the Mini Coke last night to make it into this and looked stout. We really didn't have an opportunity to see how that car fared, and I think it would have been a contender here all night. Fortunately, the track did not allow him to get through that wreck. 12 of Chris Harvey, 45 of Tyler Aspinall, the 7 of Tyler Landa. And in 27th there, you've got a guy that had not had a DNF yet this season. Comes here to Charlotte tonight and gets his first DNF in 2025, finishing 27th. That is Ewan Whatarmy. Tristan Reams, Guido Piano, Tasha Wright, John Hagan, Andre Stefan, Maggie Reams, David Bird, Liz Shangle. Man, Eli the Wolf yet again gets claimed by the Coke 600. He had an opportunity to win it last year, and it's going to be so hard to leave here tonight knowing that another opportunity had already been erased before it could get started. It's always next year, but you want to try to execute before it turns into 364 days to the next one. So Lucas Holmes, Trevor Walker, James Gunner, Fireball Robert, Matthew Fastnot, and Jack Ross. Your 42 cars, the ones that are retired at the back of the field there. And we've got 7 cars left on the lead lap here. Kellen Relic has not been able to get around his teammate there to put him a lap down. Maybe some slight team tactics going on to allow that 89 to stay on the lead lap in case we do get a caution. And he doesn't have to fall back on the lucky dog. Well, thanks for those y'all that are tuning in. I'm going to try my best to keep it entertaining for the full 400 lap duration. Too bad that, you've got a race that's the longest race of the year, and you get the biggest wreck ever on lap 3. You can't script this shit. It's crazy. I think it goes to show you just how hard these drivers want to go to get a crown jewel victory under their belt. And although the hype and excitement has fizzled down a little bit, there's still going to be a winner tonight. Someone still has to crown the champion. And with strategy and all the things that make the Coke 600 truly a blast to follow along with, we're still getting that. As Kellen Relic had jumped from 3rd to 1st on his pit strategy call. But is he going to be able to maintain? And could someone else find a strategy that trumps his? Well, the next round of pit stops are not likely to come until about lap 130. So we're still a ways away from that. We are slowly closing in on the quarter mark of the race, which would be lap 100 of 400. Which would be the 150-mile mark. Well, the lead is kind of plateaued a little bit. Kellen Relic's lead's actually shrinking by a little, down to 4.9 seconds. Hopefully, just hopefully, we can make all 600 miles here tonight. We've never had a race in Sigma history that's never been completed. But you just wait and see. Watch, of all the races that could possibly happen is the Coke 600. Well, Willow Blake is under siege here from our leaders. Last time we saw a pack like this, they almost wrecked. Well, Willow Blake was able to hold on to the lead lap for 93 laps here tonight, but now she is officially gone one lap down in 7th. Campbell Marsh using his teammate, team owner, as a drafting partner here to work through the traffic, and he's gaining spots while doing so. Bossman has pushed him up to 5th, and he's got 4th right there knocking on the door. Whoa, he almost collided there with Nate Newman. But Campbell Marsh on a trend in the right direction here. The only other Kellen Relic Racing entry that's still running is Al Bunch, who happens to be 9th place, one lap down. So if we look where he's running, he's going to need a little bit of luck and maybe a caution or two to get back into the mix. He was black flagged after that early race wreck. He was at the front of the field running in 2nd, but had to serve that penalty. But even without a caution, he can still race his way through the field to get back on the lead lap. That's, you know, that's just the kind of power that these Jaguars have. Truly, truly a wild, wild start to this one. Fastest lap still hasn't been touched. Braden Varga holds on to that fast lap time. Since our caution, the average race pace has picked up quite a bit here. We're rolling at about 177 miles an hour average for the race pace, race record. I don't know what you would consider that. That's the average race distance in comparison to the mileage of the race. So based on the speed you're turning, the average field is turning 177 miles an hour as pertaining to the leader. Yeah, I really like how this feels more like a throwback race. You know, these are the races of yesteryear that we never got to watch because they were never televised. Didn't have a TV package back in the 1960s or 70s. And sometimes you'd have one driver on a lead lap of his own. Just look at Richard Petty, Cale Yarborough, and some of the big names that made NASCAR what it is today. Couldn't have had the sport without races like this one right here. And it really tests the best of the best. You know, obviously a wreck takes you out of it, but those that rise to the occasion can knock it out of the park. We're looking at that right here as Kellen Relic leads the way. Some of the other drivers still in the mix. And it's an endurance race, so you got to make it to the finish. Kellen Relic could be leading right now, but it doesn't pay the big bucks. It doesn't give you the trophy to lead lap 102, as we just got past the quarter mark. The only lap that counts for the big bucks is the last lap. And being a 600-mile race, we might see engines blow up. We might see cars overheat, fuel lines bust, oil leaks, whatever it is you call it. There's chances for a lot of these cars to drop out before the end of the race. I am impressed with the team tactics here, as Kellen is not passing his teammate. It's helping Campbell Marsh slowly get into the fold here tonight, as there's only 4 cars on the lead lap. He's got to make up some time to catch up to 3rd place, which is kind of staying stagnant right now. Kellen Relic has not grown his lead by a whole lot, but he started to stretch it out a little further on Tate Bergeron and Braden Varga. We'll see if some teams figure out the strategy call on this next round of pit stops, which will be coming in about another 25 laps. So something that is interesting here is Kellen Relic has won the Coke 600 before. Back in 2013, he was a Coke 600 victor. It's going to be a pretty long stretch between back-to-back winners in the Coke 600s. We don't have very many back-to-back winners. Well, not back-to-back. What am I saying? Repeat winners. There we go. There's only been an occasion once before we had a repeat winner, and that was Tyler Shangle that had won it in 2014 and 2024. Other than that, it's pretty much been a different driver every year that has won the Coke 600. Each of the Shangles have won it except for Monty Shangle. So Monty has not hit victory lane, and he's, along with Kara Shangle, are the only two Shangles left running in the Coke 600 here tonight. Kara's got a cleaner looking car than most, so don't count her out. If there's some more wrecks and wild, crazy shenanigans to play out, she could still work her way into a solid finish here tonight. 10th as they run. Lap 120. So probably now about 10 laps before we start seeing green flag pit stops. Kellen's lead over Tayden Berggren is 4.7 seconds. Then it's 5 seconds over Braden Varga. Al Bunch has climbed from 9th up to 7th. So he's working his way through the traffic here. And that's for position on Lewis Trost. He's now up to 6th as Trost pulls down pit road. Correction, 5th. Must have been another driver that pulled down pit road. So Al Bunch runs in 5th at the moment. More and more are coming down pit road. Kellen Relic continues to lead. But his lead has shrunk significantly as he's now 1.98 seconds in the lead. Did he get bumped? How did he lose such a large amount of time? Had a 28-second lap. Oh, the 21 slowing down in front of him actually slowed his pace. He had to get so far out of the acceleration that he lost 2 seconds of his lead there. Wow. And now the lead's shrinking even more. I think the tires are starting to catch up to him here. As we know that Tayden's got fresher tires. Yeah, Kellen's having to pit. Oh, but so is Tayden and Braden. We couldn't have had a more dynamic duo tonight with names now that we've got Tayden and Braden in the mix with Kellen Relic. So all three of your leaders, forget about the strategies that they had already started to develop. They're all on the same strategy for this pit stop. They seem to have noticed the advantage that Kellen Relic got and adjusted accordingly so that Kellen couldn't get as big of an advantage this time. He's leaving, but so is Tayden. Tayden has pretty much made up all the deficit that he had lost on Kellen Relic with his second pit stop here tonight. I'm still surprised we haven't seen any mechanical failures yet. We have all 21 of the cars that have survived the first wreck of the race that are still running. Only 4 cars are on the lead lap. 1 lap down stretches from 5th to 11th. 2 laps down includes 12th through 14th. 15th through 17th, 3 laps down, and then the rest you really just don't want to even factor in there, because they're going to need a lot of luck to get back into this one if you're 6 laps down or worse. No, Tayden got some damage. Damn. So he's trying to go around the 54 of Alex Sanvital. And someone... Oh, that was all on him. He just drove it in a little too hot there. Hitting turn 4 wall. Trying to catch Kellen Relic here, but... did some strange damage to the car. That's going to slow down his pace too. Kellen Relic's getting back into the 26-second bracket. Tayden's turning 27s. Man, Bella Fawn's still alive in the race here tonight. She had an almost opportunity to win it last year as well, right down to the last couple laps before Tyler Shangle stole the win. Kellen Relic could potentially become only the 2nd driver to get a repeat win at the Coke 600. Rolling into tonight, I would have said the favorites to get the win definitely would have been Bradley Reim, Ewan Whatarmy, or Al Bunch. But now, Al Bunch is really the only one of those 3 left with a chance. Bradley Reim is still running, although 4 laps down in 18th. So not looking favorable for Bradley Reim unless the whole field wrecks out in front of him. Al Bunch is running a patriotic paint scheme here tonight for the Coke 600. Usually the Coke 600 is filled with patriotic paint schemes. We're not seeing near as many of them here tonight, but the true spirit gets carried on with a couple of them. And carrying on his banner, we'll show you right here. That is honoring his great-grandpa, Walker. I don't know his first name. He didn't, and I wish I knew the ranks in the Army. Private First Class. Yeah, there we go. PFC, Private First Class Walker. His great-grandpa who served in World War II. might not be Memorial Day, but every day we remember those that came before us to give us the opportunities to live the life that we get to live here on planet Earth. And thank you to everyone for your service, all of you that do serve. It is greatly appreciated. And Al Bunch, I'm sure, doing his great-grandpa a justice. Proud great-grandpa up in the clouds watching down on him here tonight as he's fighting just like anyone else would in the trenches. It's not the prettiest of races, but it's going to be a gritty one. And it'll pay off by the end of the night if he can get back into it here. 5th place, 1 lap down. But you're going to start seeing he can see the leaders. You can see him there on the front stretch, the back stretch rather, and you can see him separated by about a length of the straightaway. Braden Varga got by Tayden Bergeron here, as Braden is now 4.5 seconds out from the leader, Kellen Relic. Oh, I apologize, Al. I didn't realize he's still alive and kicking. I forgot. If you did mention that, that's my bad. I'm sorry. Thank you for... He is watching, possibly. I don't know. I'm definitely thinking this is a race where we could see huge comebacks of monumental proportions. How crazy is that going to be that he's going to have to beat the boss man, though? Kellen Relic writes the paychecks, supplies the cars, and yet Kellen's up front leading the race. And I think his biggest threat for the race win here tonight could very well come down to his teammates. With a little bit of luck and some, well-timed cautions, that could come a lot quicker. But Al Bunch is trying to use every mile here tonight to gain as much traction as he can to get back into it. For the first time ever, Kellen Relic Racing actually had 4 cars starting tonight, 3 of which are in the top 5 here on lap 149. Each of them have a different path to travel. Al Bunch had to serve a black flag early in this race and has had to fight his way back. Kellen Relic stayed out of trouble. Actually, let me watch the replay back on my phone of that big first wreck of the race. When the green flag dropped, Al Bunch was out front leading. Kellen Relic was one of the first cars to make it through. The crazy part is if he was even just a couple tenths of a second behind on the track, he could have been involved in that big ass wreck. But alas, he avoided it and has been up front fighting for the win ever since. Yeah, for the most part, the drivers that we have left running in the top 5 are the ones that were in front of the wreck when it happened. The only heartbreak is for the other Kellen Relic entry that did not make it through that wreck, being Eli the Wolf. Wow. As you can see, Al Bunch has got clear track in front of him. His last lap was a 27.509. Taden Bergeron's was a 27.4. Braden a 27.4. So, then Kellen had a 27.5. So, Al Bunch is actually going faster than the leader. As long as he didn't get stuck behind lap traffic, I think Al Bunch is going to make up some ground here. Taden has definitely had a hard break, hard season so far. He's had some opportunities to really fight for wins here. It seems like when things go to crap, he's always there. When we've had some of the biggest wrecks this year, he's still in the mix. He's had 3 runner-up finishes this year. Armory Digital Super Speedway, which had a huge pile up towards the end of the race. He came home, finished second. Irwindale, a lot like tonight, we had just bizarre wrecks. A big wreck at Irwindale, just bizarre happenings. He finished second there as well. And then at Chicagoland, without too much crazy shenanigans, he still managed to finish second there. In a race that had 35 cars left running, 27 on the lead lap. So that was truly an unbizarre race that he had a great finish at. It's hard to say that he's checkers or wreckers because he hasn't got that win yet, but definitely seconds or wreckers. And it's just been it's been tough. You don't want to be associated with the likes of Sheldon Creed by having so many runner-up finishes. Sitting in third, right behind Braden Varga at the moment. Kellen Relic made it around some more lap traffic here. He's down to 28.1 second on that last lap, while Al Bunch is in a 27.7. Wow. The average speed of the race is at 182 miles an hour right now. If we would look at past Coke 600s, I don't think we've ever had one that quick. 164 miles an hour was the finish interval at the 2012 Coke 600. The last time that Kellen Relic won it was a 163 mile an hour average pace of race. The year Tyler won it in 2014, he was on a lap all of his own, had an average race pace of 164 miles an hour. So as you're seeing, these races are usually pretty slow when it comes to the overall race pace by the end of the night. This one is already sort of trending towards the fastest Coke 600 that we've had yet. So it could take the cake for two different pieces of the night. The biggest wreck in Sigma history and perhaps even the quickest race in Sigma history. 2015 running, Kevin Harvick won it at a 164 mile an hour race pace. (2016) when Dale Jr. won it, 166 mile an hour race pace. '27, Kyle Busch won it. That's the fastest so far, was a 171 mile an hour race pace. 2017. And yet Kyle Busch ended up on pretty much the top four were only on the lead lap. So similar tonight almost in the way that played out. Let's look ahead to 2018. That year the race was won by Takuma Sato, taking a faster lap, average pace of 172 miles an hour. We only saw one caution that night. One caution for 4 caution laps. Wasn't quite half the field though, actually. It looked like another race that we had half the field wrecked out on lap 150. So they made it 150 laps before the big one happened in 2018. So it's not untreaded territory to have a single caution in the Coke 600. Tonight could match that pace. We've always had at least one caution in the Coke 600, it seems. Ryan Hunter-Reay wins it in 2019. That takes the cake for the slowest race pace, 152 miles an hour. 13 cautions, a total whopping 13 cautions for 52 laps in 2019. No wonder it was such a slow pace. Snail's pace for that race. Then enter 2020, the COVID year. Sigma Cup, kind of a shortened schedule, but still full season of racing, including the Coke 600, which was pushed to June that year. Liz Shangle took it with a 168 mile an hour average race pace. (2021) we're starting to get into the modern era. It's still prior to the current generation of drivers. This season we had seen Marco Andretti win the Coke 600. He may not be able to win the Indianapolis 500, but he's somehow found a way to win the Sigma Cup Coke 600, leading half the race. Hard Charger Award. Average race pace of 167 miles an hour. Now, when you get into 2022 here, a year dominated by willpower. That year was won by none other than my cousin, Justin Roman, who had an average race pace of 159 miles an hour. 5 cautions that day kind of set the stage for a slower pace in the race. 2023. The year that I won it, the Coke 600, got the monkey off my back, finally taken home highly coveted victory. Led half the race, 199 laps, and had an average race pace of 169 miles an hour. So it must be a common trend. When you win big here at Charlotte. Just last year, when my brother took the victory, his second Coke 600, the race pace that night was 171 miles an hour for the duration of the race. There was 6 cautions mixed in with that, so even with 6 cautions, they were flying. Kellen Relic pitting here on lap 182, as well as Tayden Berggren, but Braden Vargas stays out a lap longer here to get the lead. Well, the long haul starting to get a little closer to halfway here. Braden Varga made his pit stop and still come out with the lead. I don't know how he did that. That can't be right. Is that right? Did he actually come out with the lead? Holy cow. So he stays out, which for the most part puts Kellen Relic a lap down. Kellen Relic's on the tail end of the lap now. But Braden Varga does not pass him. He comes in right behind him in the stall behind him. They take a little longer to fix their repairs. And then Braden Varga rejoins right behind them. Holy cow, man. Talk about strategies. Unpredictable, unbelievable. And now they're on the tail end of going a lap down with Braden Varga leading the race. Yeah, Taden Berggren, I think, had to fix some damage on the 43. That's why he stayed on pit road for so long there. So, new leader, Braden Varga, just shy of halfway. It's a mixed bag as to who's going to lead the race after each pit segment. 3 different leaders in 3 different pit segments has really put this race wild up in the air. Well, now Al Bunch has his sights set on a new leader of this race, Braden Varga. Braden just turned a 26.9. Compare that up with Al Bunch, who just turned a 27.2. There's a lot that can still play out here tonight. Still 21 cars left running. Amazingly enough, since the initial big one at the start of the race, there has not been another driver drop out yet. Definitely a race that I was anticipating to take 4 hours. I'm going to be happy that I can get off the stream a lot earlier tonight than I initially anticipated. Braden Vargas coming around here, and it's going to be mile marker 300 of the 600-mile event. You heard that right, folks. We are officially halfway through the Coke 600. 300 miles in, 300 miles to go. 200 laps in, 200 laps to go. And Braden Varga leads the way over Kellen Relic and Taden Berggren. Well, Taden Berggren's fell back to 4th. Campbell Marsh has moved into 3rd place. So Kellen Relic Racing running 2, 3, and 5. Al Bunch still trying to get back on the lead lap. It has been 200 laps in the making after he got black flagged from the beginning. Step away for a moment here, folks, and I'll give you the Sigma side-by-side screen, so don't go anywhere. Man, this race is going to be so easy to write material for every year. Just like doing the hype video for this race. Had a lot of history that I could dig into. Excitement. And all the prestige that really backs this race up. We're seeing again tonight how the prestige plays a huge role on how these drivers race. And they really they push the envelope since lap 1. Sometimes when you push the envelope just a little too close to the edge, things explode. That's definitely what we had here tonight, was an explosion. Whoa! Braden Varga clipped Jacob Shangle there. I think he miscalculated where the 64 was going to be on track there. I don't think there's much that's going to come from it, so no harm, no foul. But didn't look pretty. You definitely don't want to see your leader getting in collisions with lap traffic. We have our second caution of the night here, folks. 216 laps in. And Sigma officials are going to be busy, giving the wave around to plenty of drivers here. 69 of Lynn Farrell. Oh, collides with Nate Newman on the front stretch there. Pretty mild in terms of the wrecks we've seen here tonight. Closing rate was just a bit too much for the 20 and the 69, and they collect each other there. Alrighty. Sit still, folks. Things are going to get shook up a little bit here. Owl Bunch, your lucky dog. Wow, it's actually wild that everyone's pitting together. Usually, the lap cars pit the next lap. So, the way I'm going to handle this is I'm going to give the wave around pretty much to the top 8, 9, top 9. The trajectory of this race has changed significantly now. Yeah, let's wave around the 77 actually. So, we're going to wave around the folks that are amongst the leaders here so that they don't get shuffled into the way of the leaders. Alrighty, so that shuffles our lead 4 all together. Al Bunch is going to have to catch up here quickly so he can get in line with your top 4. Might take a minute. As you're asking, Willow, it was the first caution in the race that was not the big one on lap 2. We had a standalone caution here with the 69 of Lynn Farrell getting spun by Nate Newman. This is what I was afraid of. Very much afraid of Al Bunch not getting around lap traffic as it's intended to be. Dang it. Probably doesn't need to worry, as they're going to probably get another caution here pretty quickly with all the lap traffic and not knowing what to do. Hopefully Al Bunch is not in the wreck, though, is the main thing here. Kellen Relic gets the lead on the restart. Kellen Relic racing now. Running 1, 3. Yeah, I got some drivers here now trying to race for their laps back. Oh, 3 wide with your leaders. Tadenbergren gets into it. He's coming back down. He keeps it clean, it looks like, but he's going to fall back to 5th as that gives Al Bunch possession of 4th. Anytime you get double file here at Charlotte, it's a recipe for disaster. Al Bunch, luckily for him, only 2 wide, not having to deal with 3 wide chaos like Tadenbergren did just a moment ago. It's a 1-2 for Kellen Relic Racing, as Campbell Marsh is up to 2nd, Kellen Relic the leader. Fast lap turn by Campbell Marsh, a 26.723. Came back with another 26.7 the next lap. Braden Varga is going to have Al Bunch breathing down his neck here shortly, as Al Bunch is trying to get around Chaz Chadwick. Kellen Relic Racing is now officially 1, 2, 3 in this race, as Al Bunch gets by Braden Varga for third. The accolades keep rolling in here tonight for this KRR team. Kellen Relic leads, his two teammates right behind him in second and third. 162 laps, there's still a lot of racing to go. A KRR sweep I definitely did not forecast here tonight. Well, and just multiple laps ago, Campbell Marsh took the lead away from the boss man, Kellen Relic. Led most laps tonight, definitely getting swapped around here. Kellen Relic has led 144, Braden Varga at 39, Campbell Marsh at 6, Taden Berggren at 60. Very much still have a chance for most of these drivers to try and catch up to the tally that Kellen Relic has set. And I know this has been a long one, folks. Thank you for staying tuned. We're already at the 2-hour mark in our Coke 600. This one's been flying by pretty quickly. Might set 2 records tonight. The quickest Coke 600 and the biggest wreck in Sigma history. Still haven't seen the mechanical failure aspect of this race yet. You know for a fact that some folks, their engines are going to start giving away. The longer they run, the harder it gets on these engines. And it's just a matter of time before we start seeing some folks drop out. Would be wild if we had a Sigma ARCA racer take home a victory here today. Coke 600, crazy race so far. Last year the opportunity presented itself in a truck regular with Eli the Wolf. So this year ARCA regular in Campbell Marsh leading the way right now with 139 laps to go. A lot could happen. There's still going to be some pit stops. We'll see how the strategies shake up for some of these drivers. But it would be a very, very big win for whoever gets it done here tonight. Eli the Wolf, unfortunately not in the mix here tonight. Was knocked out in the big one on lap 2. And doesn't get to enjoy the party up front with his 3 teammates who have just happened to find their way into 1, 2, and 3rd place. Very rarely do you see this kind of dominance out of a team. We have seen it before with Kellen Relic Racing. It seems like whenever they got the 89 car on field last 3 times or so that it's happened is the 89 car shows up. So what makes me say that, I'll go back a couple years to the season opener in 2023. And that race, oh my bad, actually it was just last year at 2024? I don't remember that. I thought it was 2023, let's see. Ah, yes. No. Which year was it? Was it actually 2022? It's been a while. Man, I'm having a tough time finding the race I'm looking for here. Ah, that's what it was. It wasn't a Kellen Relic Racing win, but it was a great showing for the 88 and the 89 of Kellen Relic Racing back in 2023, where they finished 2nd and 4th, and Kellen came home 8th. They're trending in an even better direction here tonight as the 89 returns and leads this race. This is probably the first race that we've seen the 89 in over a year. Just pardon my occasional sidetrack rambling when I start looking up stats. Should be, you know, a time where I could actually write down all the stats and have a little notepad that I can reference. That's what the phone kind of is now with my website that I built. I can go through, but it's, you go to one page and jump to this page and go around. So you end up fumbling through your pages before you figure out what you're going to try to explain. So Kellen Relic Racing has never had a 1-2-3 finish, especially since the team was conceived. It used to only be about a 1 or 2 car team on most seasons. Wasn't until recent, when Kellen Relic made the jump to Jaguar, that he had opened up the gates a little bit more to 3 and sometimes 4 car outfits. Well, he's opened up the gate for the crown jewel races to try and get the most bang for his bucks. And looking like a mad genius, he's had 3 cars running out here tonight with full speed. Gotta imagine there might be a little bit of greed there. Kellen would love to get another win, as it's been a year plus since his last victory. But as a team owner, I'm sure he would be content following behind winner of the race if it happened to be a teammate. But we'll see. It's not the it's not crucial point yet as to where making a pass for the lead is that crucial, but you just wait. 123 laps from now, when it's about 5 laps to go, Kellen Relic might not be playing it as nice with his teammates. True wild card, I must say, has got to be Al Bunch after falling a lap down here today. Showed the pace to stay pretty much in line with the leaders all night, even though he was trapped a lap down. With the luck lucky break of getting a caution later in the race, gets the wave around. And now the boss man and first time Cup starter Campbell Marsh leading the way. Campbell Marsh just got victory a few weeks ago in Sigma ARCA. I want to say that was the Michigan race that he came home victorious for Willow Racing. Willow Blake's still in this race as well. She's running in 7th. I'm sure she's cheering on her team driver at the front of the field. Might be kind of a sticky subject. I mean, she should be the one fighting for a win here tonight, and yet her teammate gets called up to a competitor's seat and is out there dominating this race. So hopefully there's no bad blood there with Kellen Relic Racing. It feels like Kellen Relic probably saw the talent that is Campbell Marsh, and it's just a one-off start. I don't anticipate Campbell Marsh landing a full-time ride with Kellen Relic Racing. But a win here tonight could be huge for Campbell Marsh and his overall stock in the Sigma Cup Series for the future. Willow Blake has pieces in place to own a Cup team next year. I think you would be a fool not to include Campbell Marsh in the talks for that potential Cup seat next year. It's kind of funny, the stars on Al Bunch's car kind of look like a smiley face. You see the two headlights of the Jaguar with the kind of the smiley face, almost like a dragon face on his car. He's got that first pit stall because he had pole position here tonight. Let's see if he has a great pit stop. As this pit stop falls at a very tough spot in the race. 120 laps to go. We know the window's about 60 laps. So there's going to be at least one more pit stop, but how close are they going to be pushing it on fuel here tonight? Wow, there is slow getting up to speed laps for these drivers on the apron. Al Bunch trying to capitalize with his teammates having a slow start, getting up to speed here. Pit stop shuffles Kellen Relic back to the lead as Campbell Marsh has to slot into second. Willow Blake gains a spot on pit stops there. Green flag pit stop. She moves up to 6th. Still, no more retirements have been added to this race. Sucks that we had to lose half the field. Just for half the field to actually finish the full 600 miles. Well, and only about 4 of them are going to finish 600 miles. Most of them are going to get to the 500 mile mark here tonight. Must be a battle. Okay, yeah, look at the glob of cars here as they're driving around each other. A lot of this is for position as Willow Blake has position on the 71 of Rich Roy and the 38 of Monty Shangle. Bradley Reim holding on for a top 20 finish here tonight, as well as Billy Lovejoy, who's still trying to hold on for a top 20. Everyone left running here is guaranteed a top 21. Unless you get knocked out, then the next folk in front of them will be guaranteed a top 20. Wow, they put Taden Berger in a lap down. He had a good run to start the race, but things have kind of gone backwards here for the 43. He's probably going to need at least another caution to get a shake here tonight. With a Kellen Relic win here, that would totally change up that all-star roster yet again. Kellen Relic would have been the driver encompassing 15 years of Sigma history. Fan vote, or, well, my personal pick vote. I haven't really shared that detail with very many people yet, so you're hearing it here tonight for the first time. That 15th anniversary promoters pick, which would have been mine, I was going to give it to Kellen Relic if he didn't get a win this season. Being the OG since 2010, if he gets a win here tonight, then I'm going to have to dig a little deeper for that 15th anniversary promoters pick in the All-Star race, as there's not as many veterans left in the sport. It might even come down to Liz Shangle, perhaps, since she hasn't won this year, or someone else that has been a staple over the 15-year anniversary of the series. But we can't write that victory lane speech quite so quickly. Campbell Marsh keeping him honest here. The rookie, the ARCA driver, putting Kellen Relic through the reps tonight. Oh, and they're going to catch Billy Lovejoy at a bad spot on the track. That's going to give Campbell Marsh a chance to pounce here for the lead. And he does. He uses the 37 as a pick to take the lead away from the boss man himself. I'm still surprised we haven't seen anything on Al Bunch catching the leaders yet. If these folks keep racing side by side, that could help Al Bunch close the gap a little bit. Al Bunch turning quicker laps than your lead two, so keep an eye on him. Especially with lap traffic factoring in now. Campbell Marsh is going to have his hands full dealing with the lappers. They best be careful not to make a mistake with the lap traffic. Al Bunch is losing ground to the leaders. Maybe having to deal with the lap traffic and struggling with them a little bit here. Wow, Kellen just turned a 26.9. As well as Campbell Marsh. Through the lap traffic, they're turning quick laps. That's insane. While Al Bunch turned a 27.5 with limited traffic around him. So the draft seems to be helping your leaders just a little bit as they're racing with other cars. Well, the true troopers are here right now. If you're watching on the East Coast, it's midnight. And I don't anticipate very many of you are still awake watching the race. But if you are, thank you. It's been 2.5 hours now of non-stop Sigma Cup racing here from Charlotte for the Coke 600. And we are now 1 lap away from the 3/4 mark, meaning we only have the mini Coke length of a race left after this. A 100 lap finish on deck for us right here, right now. 3/4 of the way in the books, 1/4 left to go. At least one more round of pit stops guaranteed, as Campbell Marsh kind of shocking the field here. Shock rookie leading the way. He's not going to be able to get led most laps. Kellen Relic has tied up those honors, unless Taden Bergeron can get back up to the lead, but he's a lap down in 5th. And 4 laps is all going to take for Kellen Relic to tie it up completely, because then Taden Bergeron will not have enough laps left to match the lead laps of Kellen Relic. Of course, he could take matters into his own hands and wreck the leader, but I would not advise that, as it's frowned upon by the Sigma officials. We've actually exercised the rule book on a couple occasions this year for avoidable contact, and not something you want to do towards the end of a race like this, where you've put so much time, so much work into getting this race to the finish. Well, the second round, or the last round of pit stops should be coming at about 60 to go here. Fully anticipating some drivers start dropping out with mechanical failures, but this has been a relatively clean Coke 600 in the terms of mechanical failures. Not seeing very many. We haven't hit the 500-mile mark yet, so don't cross your fingers on making it all the way without at least a couple mechanical failures here tonight. Okay, so now Kellen Relic Racing is just laying it on a little too thick here. They could potentially be the only 3 cars on the lead lap if they get around Braden Varga here. It's bad enough that they're running 1, 2, 3, let alone the potential for them to be on a lap of their own, dominating the field here tonight. Definitely goes to show just how strong the Jaguar engines are. And even after it seemed like they had been nerfed, that they had been knocked down a step, they have found it here again tonight in Charlotte. And the most unusual of suspects leading the way, Campbell Marsh. Not a regular in the Jaguar camp. Obviously the ladder system doesn't exactly promote a linear equation to get into a Jaguar ride. That's why we've seen most of the drivers that get into this this level, they started somewhere else. Look at Al Bunch. He started as a Dodge driver. Eli the Wolf, Chevy. Campbell Marsh, he's been with Toyota. It's because Jaguar does not have a feeder system. So once you get to Cup, it's really the only opportunity you get to hop in a Jaguar seat like this. And he's putting a bid out there to try and earn himself a seat in the Sigma Cup All-Star race later this year in July. As I already mentioned, Kellen Relic's a lock due to the 15th anniversary promoters pick, which would lock him in to the All-Star race at Moses Lake Motorplex. Eli the Wolf, he's potentially going to be high enough in the points to lock his way in as the highest driver without a win, as that is a possible way to work your way into the All-Star race. Kellen Relic has lost touch with the leader as Campbell Marsh drives away with it. Kellen Relic is soon to be under attack by Al Bunch. this could be a pivotal pass, as it would put Kellen Relic Racing on a lap of their own. Braden Varga, I don't think, wants to give up that easily, though. But possibly nothing he can do about it. If that 89 is firing on all cylinders, it's going to be hard to keep him behind. Drag racing down the backstretch. He's got a good run on the 9 as he blows by through turn 3. Braden fighting back on the high side, though, keeps on the lead lap for now. Campbell Marsh giving another try here on Braden Varga. There's really no reason to push it here. I wouldn't even try to get side by side with the 9 at the potential risk of getting wrecked from the lead here. They've caught up to Billy Lovejoy and Jacob Shangle, the tail 2 cars on the field. 20th and 21st as they run. Actually 19th and 21st. Campbell Marsh drag racing with them now. Al Bunch gets up to 2nd. Kellen Relic falls back to 3rd. Braden Varga probably hoping for a caution here to get back in the swing of things. This It's crazy that we're going to go 600 miles and still find a way to turn this into a gas mileage race by the end of the night. Campbell Marsh needs to make it to lap 338 here to be guaranteed safe. Well, safe enough to make to the finish without a green-white checkers. Braden Varga gets past, putting him a lap down. Well, not so quickly though. Varga fights back on the high side, keeping it interesting here. Al Bunch 4 seconds out of the lead. We are officially at the 500th mile here tonight in Charlotte. 500 miles in, 100 miles to go. 67 laps to go, that is, so 100 miles is 67 laps around a 1.5 mile track. A lot of folks that are already pitting are not going to have enough fuel to make to the finish. Braden Varga, yeah, we already kind of figured he wasn't going to have enough if he's pitting after losing the lead lap there. Wow, 64 laps to go. I don't know if Campbell Marsh is pushing it here, coming in early. Yeah, look at Kellen Relic staying out. Al Bunch already pitted. Holy cow. Kellen Relic might have the mileage here. I don't know on Al Bunch or Campbell Marsh for that matter. Kellen Relic staying out, man. He knows he has to get to about lap 338, and he's done that. So now, it's just a matter of time when he decides to pit. It's going to hurt initially staying out this long. So as to when he pits, he might get shuffled deeper in the running, further disconnected from his two teammates. Staying out another lap. So now Kellen Relic on a lap all of his own right now. His two teammates have pitted. Kellen knows that the fuel numbers are not looking ideal here, especially if we end up with green-white checkered attempts towards the end of this one. Now, pitting on lap 340. So he's going to have 60 laps. That's the perfect window to make it to the finish on at least one attempt here tonight. Yeah, Al Bunch lost some ground even. Well, shoot, I stepped away to go to the bathroom, and we've got our third caution tonight. And this makes it so everyone can go the distance, as they should be coming down pit road for the rest of the gas they need. Damn, what the hell's going on? So we make it past the 500-mile mark, and that's when the shit starts to hit the fan. Oh, there you go. The wreck that brought out the third caution of the night was Billy Lovejoy getting run into by Rich Roy. Bam. This sets up an interesting late race restart, as it gives a few folks the wave around. Braden Varga back on the lead lap. Willow Blake's going to be on the lead lap now, followed by Rich Roy and Taden Berggren and Monty Shangle, all of which get back to being on the lead lap here tonight. Kellen Relic back with the lead as he stays out. He knows that he had enough fuel to go one attempt here tonight. Well, there you go. Your top four all alone at the front here. Kellen Relic, Campbell Marsh, Al Bunch. Al Bunch with a new vigor for the fight to win here tonight. He's alongside the boss man almost for the lead. Braden Varga shaking it up with the leaders. Gets back on the lead lap here. But is he going to have the speed to hold a candle up next to these Jaguars? Well, Braden Varga gets around Campbell Marsh. Al Bunch knocking on the door here. He would love to add a crown jewel victory to his resume. Doesn't have very many of these crown jewel races to his name. The opportunity doesn't present itself all that often to get one, so fighting for it here tonight. All he's got to do is beat the boss man. Ooh, and there's dirt and dust out front. Was there... Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, Willow Blake gets into it with Cooper Dwight here. Wow, and Willow Blake... Whoa, she jumped. Holy cow, man. She found the sewer grate in the infield there or something. She never lifted. Not one moment did she lift. Whoa. I'm amazed with the damage on Willow Blake's car that she still managed to stay within 2.8 seconds of your leader. And this time she actually gained a little bit of ground. Kellen Relic lost some momentum there. Dude, that would be wild if we had a car that's missing half the bodywork find its way into a top 5 finish. Potentially even better if she can keep up the momentum she's rolling with there. And she went for a ride in the grass and launched that thing up into air for a brief moment. She could have pulled a full-blown Ryan Preece on us and went airborne, but decided to keep it grounded. Wow, fast lap times have changed. Campbell Marsh turned the fastest lap in this race past the 500-mile mark. That fast lap has belonged to Braden Varga all night. But all of a sudden, lap times are changing. The track is changing. Al Bunch taking the lead on Kellen Relic here. Side by side for the lead. Kellen keeps it for now, but he's got his hands full with his two teammates. Oh, they're going to try to go around the outside. Kellen goes outside. Al Bunch thinks to drop low side. And they don't know how to get around Lovejoy here. This is allowing Kellen Relic to really stretch it out right now. This is not ideal for the rest of the competitors trying to take the win here tonight. Fuel mileage is no longer a factor here after that last caution reset everything. Braden Vargas still trying to mess with the trifecta for Kellen Relic Racing's Jaguars. "39 laps to go now. Another lap car in the mix. Kellen Relic gets held up significantly here as Campbell Marsh trying to catch the boss man here. He's going to have to go high. He's going to try to stay mid. Not easy to make this pass work. Kara's keeping the leaders bound up here. Kellen goes low on the 21. Campbell Marsh gets shoved high. Braden Varga goes high. That's an interesting move there by the 9 as he gets pushed 3 wide by Al Bunch. All it takes is one wrong move and you could have the entire top 5 wiped out here. They're doing well to keep in the right direction right now, but if there's some more lap traffic on the horizon, they just got to be careful not to get tangled up in a wreck that we've seen happen so many times at this Coke 600. Once you get down to the last 100 miles of this race, people are getting restless. The drivers, they're getting fatigued, bored, whatever it is. They're just running out of energy. And usually the last 100 miles is where we see more mistakes made. And hopefully it's not a mistake made in the form of a wreck for some of your leaders here. Willow Blake and Rich Roy still hanging on in the top 5, top 6 category there. Kellen Relic gets shuffled high. Al Bunch to the lead. Al Bunch catches this lap car. And I remember a couple weeks ago, Braden Varga was upset that he got Al Bunched. You know, getting a runner-up finish to none other than Al Bunch stings a little bit more when he wins so many races already. It's like, might as well get out of the way and let some other folks win. Well, I don't think Braden Varga is going to take so kindly to another runner-up finish to Al Bunch tonight. He's going to try everything in his arsenal to make sure that 81 ends up behind him. 33 laps. Kellen Relic Racing being faced with a little bit of adversity here on getting that 1-2-3 finish. 1-3-4 is still a very admirable feat, as well as a potential 2-3-4 or 1-2-4. Or even a 1-2-5, who knows? Sure beats the 19th, 20th, and 21st, which is the worst they could finish here tonight, based on the amount of laps left to run and the positions up for grabs. Bradley Reim retired and Jacob Shangle retired, so the worst you can finish tonight is now 19th. Al Bunch was coming down pit road when this happened. Oh, wow. Jacob Shangle just lawn darts the 78. Huh. I guess that's one way to put an end to your night. But taking out the Rookie of the Year contender, that's an odd one. So Al Bunch leads over Braden Varga, Campbell Marsh, and Kellen Relic. 29 laps left to go in the Coke 600. We're just about at the 550-mile mark here in tonight's race. Al Bunch has caught Billy Lovejoy here. Everyone catching Billy Lovejoy seems to be having troubles getting around him. Wow, Braden Vargas trying to flirt with taking the lead here. He gets alongside Al Bunch. Al Bunch holds him on the high side. As lap traffic will factor in again here shortly. Honestly, Rich Roy and Willow Blake are about a 4-car pileup away from getting back into this race for the win. They're hoping that someone's got a voodoo doll on the Kellen Relic Racing team. And then Braden Varga would be the only other stander in their way if you took out all the Kellen Relic Racing entries here tonight. Three yellow flags tonight for 13 laps under caution. The race pace at a blazing 179 miles an hour for the entirety of the race. Now here comes Braden Varga again, trying for the move on the lead. He blows by Al Bunch here. They're side by side. The 38's going to block the run on the 81. Oh, Varga's going to try to slice and dice. Al Bunch slices and dices right in front of the 9, though. Campbell Marsh had a great shot at winning the race here tonight, but it's looking like things are starting to go the direction of the veterans, as you've got Al Bunch leading, the rookie in Braden Varga and the veteran of Kellen Relic. Campbell Marsh not out of it, though, sitting in third there. Somehow managed to knock out the fastest lap after mile marker 500 here tonight. And here comes Kellen Relic back into the mix. Al Bunch gets blocked by a lapper here, forcing him 3 wide with lap traffic into turn 1. Wow, Varga's got to be sweating bullets after some of the moves that were made there. It's just 16 laps left to go in this one. There we go. The 89 gets by Braden Varga now with 15 laps to go. Braden, the only driver keeping the trifecta from happening with Kellen Relic Racing. A 1-2-3 finish would definitely be a statement race for Kellen Relic Racing. Heck, Braden Varga is not going away, though. He's catching back up to Al Bunch and Campbell Marsh. It's a one-off opportunity for Campbell Marsh that he ain't soon gonna forget. Coming through the Mini Coke 100 Sprint Qualifier last night to make the main field here tonight. 89 has survived adversity and has been up front leading laps, putting on a show for the fans in attendance at Charlotte. Well, for those of you on the East Coast, it is 1 in the morning. Happy Friday. Coke 600 is just about to close its final chapter here tonight as we're down to 12 laps left to go. Looks like Kellen Relic Racing is in the fight for the win here. Whether it's going to be Al Bunch or Campbell Marsh is still to be determined. They've been putting this 37 car lap down at a rapid pace as Al Bunch nearly clips the back bumper of the 37. Seems like Kellen Relic has faded here at the end. Final 15 miles here to go. 10 laps left in the Coke 600. Al Bunch, against all odds, had a black flag send him to the back, going a lap down earlier here tonight, and he's found his way back up to the front, fighting for the win. Campbell Marsh has led a bunch of laps in his maiden voyage in the Sigma Cup Series. One-off start that could turn into a couple more if he keeps this up. And Braden Varga is going to kind of break up the KRR party with a potential third place on the line here for him. Now, how hard is Campbell Marsh going to push? You've been given an opportunity to race one of the fastest cars in the Sigma Cup, and you're right behind the defending champion of the Sigma Cup Series. There's no teammates, especially with 8 laps to go in the Coke 600. And even more so for Campbell Marsh, he's got no allegiance to the drivers on this team. That's a one-off start. He may never race for Kellen Relic Racing again. Who knows? After tonight, though, I would be surprised if he didn't, as he's put on such a great showing. That in its own should be an invitation back to try and rerun it as often as they desire. But bumping and banging with the best of the best, Campbell Marsh, an ARCA racer, is living his dreams out right here, fighting for a win in the Cup Series. The only thing that could really change this all up is if we get a late race caution within the last 8 laps of this race. Louis Trost about to go another lap down here. He's sitting in 14th, so still a solid top 15 run, regardless of the damage sustained in the race here tonight. He's running about 2 seconds slower than your leaders. Actually, with tire degradation factored in, he's actually in a about similar race pace to the leaders. If he had fresh tires, he could be running with them right now. Willow Blake looks like she's probably going to settle for a 6th here, although if she can catch up to Rich Roy, she could get a top 5 getting around him. Is there potential for a last lap pass at the Coke 600 here tonight? It's been a while since we've seen a photo finish in the Sigma Cup Series. Don't want to jinx it, of course, but I'm often going to beg and plea for more photo finishes, as that is the holy grail of these races, is getting something as close as a photo finish at the line. I'll be greedy and desire that we get a 3-wide finish just like the Atlanta race a couple years ago with Ryan Blaney, Daniel Suarez, and Kyle Busch. Two laps to go. We're at 598.5 miles roughly. Last lap, staying green here as the white flag is in the hand of the flagman. One more lap around the track here tonight will decide the victor. Campbell Marsh has been playing it nice with Al Bunch, the defending Sigma Cup champion, racing a paint scheme honoring his great-grandpa who served in World War II. 99 years old, alive and still kicking today. Private First Class Walker will be proud of his great-grandson Al Bunch as he gets yet another win in the Sigma Cup Series here tonight in the Coke 600. The first Coke 600 Al Bunch gets to add to his resume. Coming home second, it's Campbell Marsh. Third, Braden Varga. Fourth, Kellen Relic. And fifth is Rich Roy over Willow Blake. those are all your drivers that finished on the lead lap here tonight. As Taden Bergeron came home 7th, 1 lap down. Alex Sanvital, Monty Shangle, and Tom Courting with a 10th place finish. The rest of your top 15 look like Cooper Dwight, Chaz Chadwick, Tyler Shangle, Louis Trost, and Bella Fawn, as we only had 19 cars finish the race here tonight. Well, that one definitely was a hard-earned battle for sure. Al Bunch comes through clutch, sealing the deal in the Coke 600 this year. "15 races into our 15th anniversary of the Sigma Cup Series. And the biggest wreck in Sigma racing history, the quickest Coke 600 in Sigma racing history. A lot of firsts tonight. As it always is, it's kind of a shame to see the big races come and go, because that means we got to wait another 365 days to witness it again. Tonight's race was definitely no different than the others in this chronicled series that we've hosted of the Coke 600. Crazy wrecks, crazy lead changes, and all throughout the night, just some great hardcore racing for all of our Sigma Cup stars. Congratulations to Al Bunch on sealing the deal here tonight for his 2nd win in the 2025 campaign, and should be his 17th career win overall. So, tough break for all of those that couldn't make it past lap 2 here tonight. Really changed the whole vibe of this race from the start. So there could have been some interesting storylines developed from the other 21 cars that failed to make the start of this race. But I do like how this one played out, with Al Bunch going a lap down early, fighting back tooth and nail, using all of the 600 miles to earn this one here tonight. Campbell Marsh coming home in 2nd. Just goes to show you that it's not easy for a rookie to hop into these things and go out there and win. That's why we run the full length races to figure out who wins, and often it falls by the wayside for the rookies. So, first of many attempts, I'm sure, for Campbell Marsh, as he'll be moving up the ladder before long. Willow Racing has a strong candidate there, and he is going to have a bright future in Sigma racing. So, well, folks, thank you for the hardy sticking around. Hardiness, heart, soul, everything. I know it's just past Memorial Day weekend, so I'll sign off with this stream. Thanks to all the troops out there. Thanks for all that serve. It is truly a week of memories, you know. Remember those that come before us, and hopefully inspire more to do great in the world. So, thanks again, folks, for everything. Enjoy your weekend, and until next time, this is Jakester signing out. Peace out, folks.